I'm Davina.
Divina?
Yes.
How old are you?
I'm 40 years old.
Where did you grow up?
Oakland, California, in the hills.
Okay. And then what's brought you here to the shelter? Like, how long have you been here? Where have you been prior to this shelter? Where did you live?
Well, first, I had a house. I was staying with my mother. We helped each other pay the mortgage. I paid the garbage and the water, and she paid the PG&E. We split the bills, but I did pay half of the mortgage, and she paid the other half, which I paid $600 of the mortgage, and she paid $692. So she paid $92 more than I did, but I did that over for 5 years.
Okay.
It's been 6 years now since we've been in the house, but not for me. Last year, July 1st, I got sick. I had a grandma seizure and a nervous breakdown. On July 1st, she called the ambulance. They took me to the hospital. They took me to Summit. I was at Summit for a while, and then from there, they sent Herrick to come and get me. And I was at Herrick for the rest of the remainder of the time, which ended up being 4.5 months. I got out the hospital November 22nd. I had a caseworker who was supposed to be Chris, and a social worker. Her name was Ann, and they were supposed to help me with a shelter, a low income, a place to stay, because they knew I had children, and my children were in my custody, and my mother had guardianship because I have grandma seizures, and they needed to make sure that I would be able to do everything, my activity daily living for myself and for my children, before they just say, well, here you go, here's all three of your children, and we'll put you in a place, and everything is everything. It was supposed to be me and my mom taking care of them together as a team at her house, which was 6027 Foothill Boulevard in Oakland, California.
What happened to the house?
My mom, 15 days later, they were coming to visit me in the hospital. Her, my children, my godmother, family members were just coming to visit me. I had to fight for my life because I was fighting for my life. I did a whole 360 because I wasn't, actually they said I shouldn't be able to communicate the way I am to be communicating now with you. I should be like, my mind state should be at a vegetable state, but it's not. With the blessings of the good Lord and the help of there was 13 doctors who seen me at Herrick. They all agreed that I was disabled, not just physically, but mentally. They said I had bipolar disorder and I had post-traumatic stress disorder.
How old are your kids?
They just turned, my oldest son just turned 20 August 3rd. My daughter just turned 15 July 22nd. And my youngest son just turned 8 July 22nd. They're both born the same day. They're just 7 years apart. They're all doing well in school. My son was the oldest. He's a high school graduate, and he's also in college. He goes to American College.
Are the three of them staying with your mother?
No, because she had 15 days later, after I was in the hospital, she had an aneurysm. So then that means now where my children are supposed to go, because both were in the hospital. So my family decided to split them up. So my daughter's with my older sister, which is my 15-year-old. My 8-year-old is with my auntie, my mama's older sister, and my oldest son is at his dad's house.
What's going to happen to you think, after the shelter closes? Where will you go?
I don't have nowhere to go. I don't have nowhere to go. It's pretty much to find another shelter or in the street. Like before, I had to catch the bus and stay on the bus all night because the bar doesn't run all night, and sleep on the bus. And I have degenerative disc disease and 5 bulging discs, and I'm not supposed to be even riding. I can't sit or stand for a long period of time. My spine is like it's like kind of an S curve in my spine. And degenerative disc disease means that my discs are deteriorating, so it's rubbing bone to bone.
Has anyone worked with you here, like a case manager, come through about finding alternate housing?
No, only people who came here was this Friday that just passed, and they were, I think, through the hot team or hub and the hot team, and I also talked with them and left my information and everything with them too, and they have my phone number, and they said they would try to help too. I've called 211. I've been calling 211 since I got out of the hospital, which was in November, and they were trying to they put me with, first they said they couldn't do it because the children, if they weren't with me right now in the shelter, then they wouldn't be considered, it would be considered just me by myself homeless, but they couldn't help me that way. And then the lady called back because she talked to her boss and said on the 211, they said no, you had your children before you got sick and they are in your custody. And so yes, and so they said they were supposed to do an intake with the family front door. The lady they said was supposed to call me, her name I believe was Tosha, within 24 hours. She never called me, never returned my calls. I would call every week, and I never got a call back. And renting on my own since I was 17 and a half. I've had my own place. I've always paid my own bills. I tried to apply for GA to get some kind of money, and they said no for the cash aid. Somebody else was using my name in another county getting Cal Fresh. I don't understand how when my oldest son was 7 years old, you can't get Cal Fresh if your child is 5 years older than 5 years old. So I can understand how they can get it in another county as me, and I'm me, and I'm getting Social Security. At the time I was getting Social Security disability insurance. You can't get that too. That's against the law.